That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Eyes, I'm not afraid to let go. Eyes, I'm not afraid to. Eyes, I'm not afraid to let go.
That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Let me know. Yeah. Suicide if you ever try to let go. I'm sad, yeah. I'm sad, I know.
Slam. Regular day, niggas be trapping the regular way. Niggas ain't talking the cellular way. If you wantin' that money, then meet me right there. Niggas still trapping like over the night. Auntie still banging my phone over ice. Lost on that, he say it's over the price. Don't give a fuck, I got the fuck. Nigga be talking that money, we really just keep it on tuck. Talking to niggas that catching the homicide. Know that you feeling it all in your gut. Who I'ma trust, who I'ma bust. Niggas don't know what the fuck I'ma do. Niggas keep watching, keep plotting. Giving me bounce like you working for 12. I cut up 40 and say you the hill. Who the fuck you talking to by the L? I got the nigga that calling me better, but nigga don't care about having no bill. Still play with fire, still living life like the wild. Nigga, we counting the 50s and 20s and 100s. The police, they running the house and them niggas, they still couldn't find. I'm telling you truth. Nigga, they telling me chill over streets and I go in the booth. I was just trapping outside like a fool. We the one turning the one into two. I was the one riding around with the stick in the Civic. My nigga, go ahead and just shoot. Nigga, we shoot out the car. I could walk down, nigga, make you a star. Put you on news. Nigga, we keeping it cool. Selling it down in the dub in the school. I done came up. Nigga, we run around and flame up.
Let's go. We see the hype outside. Right from the house. Took it straight from outside. Straight to the couch. We put the mic outside. Edit shit out. You letting the scouts outside. We running the scouts. Ain't no control in the game. They never leave. I got tats over my veins, cause that what I bleed. She drink a lot of the bourbon, like she from the street. We got control of the flows in her. We heard that your wave went dry. We flood in the drought. Heard that your hood outside. We added some routes. We having the goods outside. Move it in and out. We letting the scouts outside. We running the scouts.
Nigga, the cops outside. Lock up the house. We get the team all high. Some gold in their mouth. Nigga, the Porsche outside. With at the top. She one of my most outside. Bringing the shots. Tell these phony bitches beat it. With that Photoshop and body Adobe. Helmet. She in there making panini. She know I got all the bread. She know me. Got it. I'm a hustle. I've been busy. It's been a minute since my niggas done known it. Howdy. Creepin' boy, he make 'em pay. Yes, I creepin' boy, he done made the way. Hey. Headed for somewhere to go. Anyone cinema. These niggas don't know where to go. Gotta keep giving them heat. Time to go double though. Time to add up the mad. And I've been dealing with so many things, having so many dreams.
Let's go. They tell me I think too much. Yeah. Life is like an uppercut to gut. Yeah. Love, it's quick to bust. They tell me that I give too much. I care too much. The future's bright. I only cut. I dream big like I ain't seen enough. I ain't experienced enough like I ain't been overseas. Ivory Coast, feel the breeze. Take my mind to her knees. See where father grew up and take me right to my knees. Enough is enough. Enough is enough now. 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 I'm no longer in fear. The way I move here, like stars in our line, waiting my time. Quiet and grind. Enough is enough. Enough is enough now.
Mother talk to the game. living far from the lanes, living out in the hills. Jewish guys pay my bills, Jewish nigga pay my tax. Over 500 racks. Uncle Sam need a slap. My new accountant need a dap. My new bitch need a bag. Who me? Laugh. Bitch, you better save your money. Created with a paper like arts and crafts. Bitch, I'm arching backs. Nigga, I'm architect. Nigga, I built this house all by myself. Bitch, where was you at? You was standing in the back. You was sitting on another nigga lap. Taking pics up, face quack, quack. You was never in a trap. You was living in a dorm room, never ever strapped. Can't sport backpack. Matter of fact, you was whack. Wasn't you? Was hack. Had break. You was Shaq. Lord nigga, fall back. Yeah. You cap. Yeah. Hey. Account. She busy counting my doubts. I lost a lot of money, that was a downer. Whole fam in position of power, put riches in the community, and we started fixing the problem. Hey, stepping on the scene with a couple of bands, 3 hoes like I'm Santa, turning Jacob to a dentist. My money stormy, make it rain like Kylie Jenner. When I'm on the mic and I spit that rap, I'ma kill the track. ASAP, I put New York on my back. Tesla the cyber truck up on the dash. 100 bitches bad at this Stacy Dash. They getting mad. I'm the Lord, I hear all the chat. They call on me, but I don't call them back. I bark like a Q while you cap her cat. AKA with the AK, she rather tap. Hey. Hey, 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 I'ma make it rock, and the kids will just whip it straight Goldilocks. The junkies keep calling. What's up with you? No keys on the stock. Chop a picture about look at my eye. I got Louboutin kicks, G-side the jeans. Got no time to argue with y'all. How you trapping ain't making no guap. Fuck a job, I hop out the cop. What a weapon to pull with the shots. 40 clappers, a round of applause. 2-3s leave them more than a scar. Sell rocks to the mother, sell gas to the sun. These rap niggas don't really go hard. 40 pound make them dance with the stars. Yeah. Did a lot to get paid. Did a lot to get paid. Got a lot on my plate. Did a lot to get paid. See, I did a lot of shit, try to get to this place. Body one found out that shit is cocaine. The tenant went home, I just ran in the place. Rock with a beam if you want to do the race. See, I'm all about cake. Jack if you saw, now these bitches will come to my place. Ice on my wrist, now they ask if I skate. Mac 90 hit that young nigga fake. Yeah. Plus a few moves trying to get to the top. I post on these rap niggas block. 200 the dash, I'm real good with the top. Now that I'm here, you're not taking my spot. 1, 2, 4 shit, I'm not rapping the line of the Braves. Did a lot to get paid. Did a lot to get paid. Got a lot on my plate. Did a lot to get paid.
That is really super. How did a nigga like you get so tasty? That is really super. How did a nigga like you get so tasty?
Girl, friend, being with me. Told you she was running errands. Hit it out of bar like King Aaron. Walked in the dime, everybody staring at me. Like they ain't bumping my shit. Like they ain't fucking on bitches I been. Them niggas ain't that rich. Them niggas need another head, I get it. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down.
I'm nauseous, I lost it. Sheepless, be cautious. Just try me a brand new substance. I'm wildin' out in public. She riding, I'm thugging. On God, I just gotta keep hustling. She married, I'm fucking. She don't give a fuck about her husband. Can't make this shit up. I'm slizzard, I got the hiccups. I'm pissed drunk, don't take my picture. Got symptoms of blurry vision. The OG cushion my system. Please don't you pass me no swisher. Throwing up all my liquor, catch second wins, I'm that nigga. Black girl at the backyard party. White line, she about to get gnarly. Red flag, she a Hollywood actress. Pink lipstick all on my mattress. Blue strips all up in my pocket. Green kush, that's just how I like it. More gold than the Romy Rome. Me and Kent like Tommy and Cole.
None of my bitches let go.
Yeah.
None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down.
fast money, ask for me. I've been out busting my ass, homie, act funny. Now I be stacking my cake up. Now they got nothing to say. They cannot keep up with my pace.
Fuck my mansion, dog. I ain't never living no cul-de-sac. Mom and daddy working long. I knew I was gonna be part of that. Gotta jump and make shit shake. I start finessing, pushing weight. Look at me, I'm doing great. Next thing you know, I catch a case. Sad to say, but tell me something. Why these jobs is always bluffing? Y'all give me a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be out here fucking hustling. Mom wouldn't call me tripping, bugging. Cops wouldn't be out here steady cuffing. Set me up, this shit disgusting. Bitch, I'm bouncing back, it's
Give me
nothing.
that fast money, cash money, make it last money, ask for me. I've been out busting my ass, homie, act funny, yeah. Now I be stacking my cake up. Now they got nothing to say, they cannot keep up with my pace.
Goofies, I'm ducking and dodging, they steadily watching. I think they mad cause I'm popping. All on our own global gang in the zone. No, don't try me, I'm rolling around with a rocket. Pop it, lock it, drop it. Shawty bust it open while I'm sparking. Count profit in love with my bitch cause she buy. Don't be surprised, I don't never tell no lies. Told her I'll be there in 5. The feds is coming, grab the glizzy. Is you down the ride? Told me ain't nothing, just slide. Got your 4-5, should I go and get my 9? Kill baby, ain't got no time. I aim on 100, the Glock will do me just fine. Got a lot that's on my mind. Step up, be rushing the pop them Xannies till I'm calm. Chiefing up on that strong mo, I wreck shit like King Kong. Tell them all leave me alone. Gotta stay safe and make it home. Call me up on that phone mode. Don't get big, better watch your tone. OG up in my zone, staying stainless like I was grown. Now they want another favor, thinking that I'm your savior. Save all them tears, I heard it for years. Nothing bothers me, I'm cold like a fridge. Everything I say is golden truth. No, I'm gon' slide, but bro, it's you. Then they ask why I copped a coupe. Only room for 2, just
Give me that fast money, cash money, make it last money, ask for me. I've been out busting my ass, homie, act funny, yeah. Now I be stacking my cake up. Now they got nothing to say, they cannot.
I'ma go flex on a bitch, go stunt on a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm having my way. You ain't even with my team, you ain't with my gang, little nigga, get the fuck on my face. I bought a Glock in the party, I shoot at the ops, they dancing like B2K. Nigga want smoke, I'm like, okay, we gon' put tickets ass out in broad day. I'ma go flex on a bitch, go stunt on a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm having my way. You ain't even with my team, you ain't with my gang, little nigga, get the fuck on my face. I bought a Glock in the party, I shoot at the ops, they dancing like B2K. Nigga want smoke, I'm like, okay, we gon' pull up tickets ass out in broad day. It's more money out here to be made. Oh, none of these bitches get saved. I take this drip to my grave, bro. Dash on these bitches, I'm great. She on my neck like a groupie hoe. Had her before I was paid. These niggas lame, how they catch the boat. Trying to keep up on my way. I keep them racks on my nightstand. I don't put my trust in no one. I had to go with the right plan. Separate me from the fake ones. I'm popping off like a handgun. Cops asking questions, we don't say nothing. Designer on my fucking body, shawty, while your boyfriend dressing like a pilgrim. To be honest, I don't feel him. I live what I rap, that's in real life. The shorty got hit with the real pipe. Now she don't want you, it don't feel right. I'm thanking God cause I'm double blessed. I'm in the sky somewhere out of sight. Truths don't hide every night. Living this, how you gotta pay the price. I'ma go flex on a bitch, go stunt on a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm having my way. You ain't even with my team, you ain't with my gang, little nigga, get the fuck on my face. I bought a Glock at the party, I shoot at the ops, they dancing like B2K. Nigga want smoke, I'm like, okay, we gon' put tickets ass out in broad day. I'ma go flex on a bitch, go stunt on a bitch. I'm sorry, I'm having my way. You ain't even with my team, you ain't with my gang, little nigga, get the fuck on my face. I bought a Glock at the party, I shoot at the ops, they dance like B2K. Nigga want smoke, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, come fuck with me, baby, come fuck with a winner. It's Miami for winter and lobster for dinner.
That is really super. How to
Don't
nip
mess
like
with
you
that
get
lame
to
man,
taste
you just a beginner. So fuck these pretenders and leave them some standards. I paid all my dues, I put in the time. Slim out and been on my grind, I'm spitting that raw. Trust me, little nigga, it ain't no cutting these lines. Shout out to the haters. We know they hate us, they don't what's making me greater. We chasing the paper, we chasing the paper. I don't want a place in Jamaica. Man, look at me now. Oh, how they love me when I was so down. They hate when you up and you close to the crown. But play with the money and you catch a round. Look at me now, I'm at it again. Flow is so wet that they want me to drown. And it just depends with me and my friend. So we gon' come over and fuck up your couch. Gripping the left, gripping the bench. Me and my niggas, we holding it down. It ain't so pretty when we come around. Hit up your city and flex in your town. I should take a bow. I'm so versatile, cause this like the 5th time I switch up the style. Now this the 6th time I switch up the style. Man, they been denying this shit for a while.
Look at me now, whipping the Benz, running the streets. Me and my friends, city to city, to state to state. These bitches, they know me, real niggas, they feel me. Yeah. These bitches, they know me, real niggas, they feel me. Yeah. I say, bro, I don't know when I'ma come home. I've been paper chasing. Different city, different model. I'm just out here trying to get it.
Look at me now, I've been this way for a while. They just now coming around, but they was never around. Swear that they down when you up, fall off and they gone like a shadow of dust. But who give a fuck? Make sure I'm flexed up enough. For me and 2 niggas, ran my checker, baby. Watch how I do, niggas. Crash the caddy up, now watch how I coop, niggas. It's enough room in here for me and 2 bitches, and they won't let me wait now. Dollar man used to the best of buffets now. Used to be hungry, be stuffing our face now. No, you cannot get a plate now. Part of my back, get the fuck out my face now. I just listen, got a lot to say.
Yo.
What up?
What it do, everybody? It's another Friday. You're watching Early, the Morning Show podcast. My name's Mek. Got my guy Bruke Facil right next to me. Bruke, what it do, bro?
What's good, bro? How are you? Another Friday.
I'm pretty solid. Another Friday.
21st Friday.
The 21st. Yeah, the 21st episode is the 19th. You know what I'm saying? Right. Shit, man. Another good day, man. Shit, how's your week been, bro?
It's been good.
Yeah.
A lot of creating.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily like videos and shit, but you know.
Well, what creating what?
Getting artsy.
You know? Yeah.
Just thinking of little new concepts and things to play with.
Yeah.
Been doing a lot of like conscious collaborations. Been collaborating with a whole bunch of people. So it's kind of funny, you know, things that we have talked about in earlier episodes.
I was going to say, nothing you want to talk about?
Yeah. Nothing
like that's
like,
actually.
To be honest,
I
don't want actually.
No, I don't want to talk.
I'm like, a little under wraps until it's finished, and then I'm
yeah.
Now the way that I've been going with a lot of the collaboration I've been doing with people is like, okay, once we finish creating what we're creating, how are we going to go about doing this little custom press kit for ourselves?
Yeah,
like how am I going to push that and shit like that? So, thinking about that, but I'm just really excited with. Some of the artists I'm working with, just in terms of collaboration stuff, like just some other photographers, some like 3D animators and things like that, and just seeing what we could contribute. Like I'm coming at it for some collaborations, I'm coming at an audio front, like providing music to it. Other fronts, I'm the more so the hands-on creator in terms of like making whatever images or visuals, and then somebody might be my subject, like they were the actual person I shot.
Yeah.
So like, in that way, like that's another thing too. Like when I make, like when I try to recreate or do mixed media with photos that I've taken, I'm always going to try to bring along the person on board that was the subject, obviously. So in that way, that'd be a collab as well. But yeah, just working out NFT, go, NFT crazy.
Yeah, man, the 3D renderings are the thing that like. Whoever you're collaborating with on that, like foster that relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like those, because like that's something that's so hard to do, and it like basically if you want to outsource that, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. Like you're gonna have to pay a lot. Like you pay a lot of money for
time.
Because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of like wear and tear on your computer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so crazy. This one guy, he was like, being nostalgic on the Clubhouse last night. He was just saying, he's like, it was so cool because I love Jimmy Neutron. He's like, yo, y'all remember that show Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, like I was an animator. Like
I was about to say, don't say this nigga was an animator.
I had to follow him on everything. He's a low dude.
I was in the room with the nigga that made Kim Possible the other day. I think you was in that room too. Yeah.
That's lit. Like,
you know what I'm saying? It's like
I never really even thought about how these shows, some people watching these cartoons had huge impacts on what people would choose to do with their life. Like boom, like maybe you saw Kim Possible, like that was some spy shit.
Yeah. It was like a shorty that was a spy, but she was also like in high school.
Bro, like people probably,
or a secret agent. She was a secret agent.
Because I watched the show and I was like, yeah, it's a good show. Shorty's on shit.
It's a good show.
Somebody
It was
else
a good
probably
show.
Like, dog, I got a code. And
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They had the black. They had the black kid that was Wade. I think his name was.
Right.
Yeah, and then Rufus, the little hamster.
Bro, yeah,
little
man, that's very funny too. Like how
mole rat. He was a mole rat.
Yeah, the naked mole rat.
Somebody was like, "Yo, if you minted like a Rufus, like you could probably like, you know how people be doing like the open editions and they'll have like something that goes on auction that's like a little better. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Rufus would probably go nuts. Like Rufus was a crazy character.
That's crazy. So yeah, like he was talking about the Jimmy Neutron shit, and he was like, man, he's like, y'all really don't know how these render times like it used to be. He's like, do you know how long it took to render 300 megabytes? He's like, yeah, today it's like 2 minutes, if that, right? He's like, I'm telling you, 4 days straight, no sleep, had to keep the shit on. He's like, I was hallucinating. That's how long it took to render this 300 megabytes. I'm in Times Square fucking hallucinating, like no sleep shit. Just all of a sudden, oh my God, like I hope this render comes out right. And he's just like, just in terms of like how far we've traveled in terms of like creative shit's still, I guess it's still hard, the work process and everything like that too. But just speaking to your point in render times, like, you know, that shit, we could do so much more now. But even the most sophisticated level of like, however, like you're doing,
like the niggas was on Disney. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's gonna take time. Like, you know what I'm saying? We've even had episodes we talking about render time. You more than me. Like, you've had.
You know what's crazy? I used to think
day pluses.
But you know what's crazy? It's funny to hear that story that like niggas used to let their shit render for 4 days. That's crazy because I used to think rendering, like I used to think if my shit was rendering for too long, there was something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't realize that like, oh nah, depending on the complexity of the project, the render is gonna take like however long, depending on how complex the work is. You know what I'm saying? I used to just think, oh, if this shit's taking more than an hour, 2 hours, my computer sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to like restart my computer. So like I completely had a misjudgment of what rendering was and like what it was doing to your computer. So like there's been times when I've reached out to like people to animate stuff for me and things like that. And just when I get like an understanding of like what they're charging for and like what goes into it, because I think that's important. Like in a lot of career fields or a lot of people who, you know what I'm saying, are like us coming up in industries and stuff like that. Like it's really important to understand what you're asking people to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why you pay what you pay, or that's why it costs what it costs. Is because like there's things that you not doing it don't understand goes into it and stuff like that. So like I like to get to understand what goes into the work that I don't necessarily do. But like I've animated stuff. So like I have an idea of what goes, you know what I'm saying? Like I have an idea, I have a base level idea of a lot of the things as far as like creative that I seek out, because like I've tried a lot of these things and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, well, I've tried it. I'm decent at best. I want like good work. So I want to get somebody who's like better than me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so when you learn like what goes into the render and shit like that, it's like, okay, like my computer's normal. You know what I'm saying? My computer's normal. It's not great, but it's normal.
Yeah, I feel like it goes a long way to have like even if you don't have the know-how of how to do something, at least have some type of idea of the workflow of that process you're asking for, right? You don't need to know how to do it to understand the work that has to go into even making that, right? Because shit's crazy, bro. You get into vectors and you're literally creating every little element of whatever image people are gonna see. It's not like, because
you're literally creating every little element.
One thing, like I'll tell you what I use for days, man. Like I'll go on the Giphy, I'll use the Google Images, I'll use all types of things and then mold it to my liking. I'm not actually literally from scratch. Even when I shoot visuals, I have a video. Yeah, I'm twerking.
You got a template. Yeah,
I'm not,
or not a template, but even just like a thing. It's like clay. Like you have clay, now you make it into what you want to make it into.
So to me, that is like, you know, to me, that's definitely like a level of true top tier creating, and I'm really. I be taking my hats off.
You know what's crazy? Because like I feel like I think that's what I'm better at doing. I feel like I'm not great at making something from scratch. I mean, I guess I have, because a lot of things have come out of my
but it's a matter of the how to. Like,
it's like I have the idea of the end. No, hell yeah. Like, as I was saying it, I was like, wait a second. Let me not say that. But fucking, you know what I'm saying? I do think a lot of time I have the end goal in my head. Like, that's the visual that I have, the end idea or whatever. And I can get from like C to Z, you know what I'm saying? Like A, B, and C. Like, I kind of need to have something. So I usually scour the internet for like what's already a base thing. And that kind of goes with animating. You know what I'm saying? When I used to do that little monster show, that was a monster that was like I found on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I just animated it and gave it the voice. You know what I'm saying? And then like the story, like whatever the little news report was, like, you know what I'm saying? But like that's what it was. I didn't like make that monster from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then even in finding the monster is why I made it the monster show. Like, I wasn't like looking for a monster to do that. I was just like, oh, like, this is a cool little character. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me. I didn't see any examples of it out there already, other than what I found. Yeah, exactly.
Yours through the context you gave.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So the guy with the Jimmy Neutron. I said Johnny Neutron with Jimmy Neutron.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that shit was really dope, bro. Just you know, just giving that perspective type shit and just how far we've come. And it's just like, yo, it's so crazy how you could occupy a space. I was not thinking about no fucking editing videos in 01. I was watching that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how people also be able to stay in this space for so long. You could see the shifts, and we talk about shifts from a decade long. I can't tell you 2 decades. You know, I can't tell you that.
Oh my god!
I can't tell you how it was going to 01. I was truly consumer all the way. 100%.
And then also like just wide eye, like you were probably a kid. 100%. I mean, you were a kid, so it's like literally you were taking in the world in a different way. Like you were just kind of experiencing and learning the world. You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine animations in the 90s, bro? Like I'm really like, I'd be like,
nigga, like Tom and Jerry and like, you know what I'm saying? Bugs Bunny and shit like
y'all
that.
Are drawing every scene. Y'all have to be drawing every
everything.
Single scene.
Yeah. Oh my god. So I watched a very interesting documentary the other day on Pixar. I think it was called
I gotta watch the Tiger dog.
Yeah, that's very tough. But this Inside Pixar. It was about how like Steve Jobs and basically how he started Pixar, and then like how it kind of rose into like what it is. But it's very, because they were the pioneers of like computer animation. Like Toy Story was the first computer animated joint, and then it became like the biggest movie. It was like the biggest movie release of all time.
Through like input, the computer generated those things.
Yeah, but with the animating and stuff like that, like it started off like they're drawing it. I wish I knew the science behind like what was actually happening, because I can't really explain it like I want to, but you can see how they like revolutionized like animation. But fucking it started off with them drawing like every frame, you know what I'm saying? And then computer and basically doing what you do with, you know, with drawing on like the computer. So like the same way you would like people that use like Cinema 3D and stuff like that would probably know exactly what I'm talking about, or would probably be able to explain this better. But like you make your little 3D joint and then you move it throughout the joint, you know what I'm saying? Right. But the thing about animation too is a lot of it is like sequencing. So you put together a sequence and then you like kind of tag it with a letter, you know what I'm saying, on the keyboard, or you know what I'm saying, with a button on the keyboard. So that when you now when you press that, it does that sequence of movement, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that I learned through like trying to animate stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like it's a sequence of like put together letters, but like putting those like little letters together is like the tedious task, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So it was just really interesting to see how Pixar really kind of changed everything, bro, because like look at all this shit today that's now like computer animated. And when I was watching that joint and they were kind of like taking me back to that time of like when it was new, I remember seeing A Bug's Life in fucking in the theater, and I remember it came out and like they had toys for it. Like the marketing for it was crazy, and I only remember that because I had like all the toys, like the Happy Meals and stuff. Like I had all of those little figurines and stuff like that for A Bug's Life. I don't know why when I saw that movie, I was like, oh nah, like Pixar usually really transcended this whole shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember A Bug's Life coming out and like kind of changing my life. I had the video game. There was a fucking Bug's Life video game on PlayStation I had.
Yeah, they definitely did. They definitely were able to touch on that imaginative aspect in everybody.
Imagination,
like
dog.
They appeal to the, of course, they appeal to the children, but they also appeal to the inner kid and the older individuals
big facts.
coming out. Because when I'm thinking about that, everything was 2D at the time. Like Pixar really came in, like
they came 3D, in and made it 3D,
like, and that shit was kind of. I'm trying to like when I really think about it. You're right. Bug's Life was definitely one of a kind. That was before Toy Story.
No, Toy Story was the first. Toy Story was the first. And you, dog, even to hear how much went into that movie, like they were focused on the story. Like you think about the story of Toy Story, it's a great story. That's why it resonated with adults. You know what I'm saying? But like it took them like 2-3 years to put the story together.
The reason though is because the medium was still so new, so there's no way you could think this medium would carry it through. It would have to still be a great movie.
That's a big fact. And
because that was exactly the industry you're in. Now you're animating it. That's the bigger risk in it. But as long as you could tug at somebody right here.
But sometimes when you're working on the shit, you don't realize that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are the animator, sometimes you're just like, oh, like my animation is going to transcend. Like it doesn't matter what the story is. People are going to be blown away by this. You know what I'm saying?
Team effort. Like,
oh no, hell yeah, hell yeah.
That's all you need to think about.
Hell yeah, yeah, big fact.
Because we leave it to you, like this is.
And it's crazy because they were even being like transparent as far as like talking about like the arguments that were had literally off of that strength. You know what I'm saying? Off of the fact that it's like. Cool. They're halting the movie because they don't like the ending. You know what I'm saying? And like literally halting it for like a year. You know what I'm saying? Like because they don't like the ending. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But yeah, Toy Story was the first one, and then what were some of those early ones? Like A Bug's Life, but like first, literally Ants. I don't know if Ants was Pixar.
Right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is like DreamWorks, Monsters Inc. You know what I'm saying? Monsters Inc. was yeah, DreamWorks is different, but that was completely inspired by Pixar. You know what I'm saying? No, it is. Monsters Inc. was Pixar.
That's a classic. That's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
That dude, that's like a classic character. Orange, the green cuz.
Sully, there was the big dude. Mike was the green cuz. Yeah, they got a name like Mike. Billy Crystal. Right. Billy Crystal was the and that's the thing when you you match it up with the actors. You had Tom Hanks. They talk about how they got Tom Hanks or like why they got Tom Hanks. You know what I'm saying? They talk about why they got Tim Allen to do fucking Buzz Lightyear. You know what I mean? Right, like all of these characters are iconic, but also like the voices that they're attached to are like, you know what I'm saying, they're a big part of it.
Right.
Fucking Bug's Life, Monsters Inc. Oh yeah, they also talked about how like the intricacies of like the fabrics and the textures and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like they were talking about how like okay, so Sully, that big hairy monster in Monsters Inc. Yeah, like dog, the hair follicles. They talk about like how hard it was to work on things like that. And when you watch, you know what I'm saying, sometimes you're able to get like ingratiated in movies because those things are so on point that they don't throw you off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very interesting.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about those subtle details that
take time.
But this is the thing. Sometimes that's not necessarily what somebody viewing it is going to point out, but they might not like it due to the fact that you did not do those details. Like the details makes it seamless. It makes people buy into the thing and not critique the actual functionality of, like, if you're watching a movie or watching a TV show, it sucks for viewers to constantly be like, why do they do that that way? It totally takes away from the story. It takes away
from the story.
You're now like, and now it's a critic, like there's a critique. It's turned into a critique. And it's like, it's one thing if that's somebody's job or that's somebody's role, that's what they do. It's another thing if it's like, I was not trying to critique your shit. I can't help but
notice how
you didn't take these things into account. And it looks crazy. So like to that point, it's like, nah, man, I never never underestimate the things. And it's a good point that you even said that too, because Sully, you know, him being that type of big ass monster and having all that type of fur, like when he moves, when he jumps, all of that.
All that shit, all that shit goes
like
with
exactly how to a T he's running.
Big
how
facts.
do you make that shit go?
Yeah,
you don't have that problem with like Mike. You know,
so bring that
you know?
forward to like Pixar's latest joint, which was that movie
jazz
Soul,
joint, right?
Yeah, the jazz joint.
Were you talking about?
We were talking about that because it came
too.
out on Christmas, and when we did our episode on Christmas, I think I was saying I was going to watch it, or maybe I had just watched it or something like that. But I did watch it, and it was very tough. But like with that, you kind of notice. So they never have done like a black led story like that. You know what I'm saying? So like you kind of notice those little subtle differences in the same kind of way. Like they have a part where like he fucks up his haircut, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like the clippers, the way the fucking blade moves, and like the way like they make his hair look like black people hair and like things like that. And I even read an article about how like they were conscious. Of course, you had to be conscious about that to like make it play out, but. Yeah, they were talking about how like they were just of that, like you know, black people's hair isn't the same as like, you know, white people's hair or any other kind of like gender's hair or race's hair.
This is the thing too, though. It's just kind of like, it's funny how that even works like that, right? Because it's like, how do and this has been a big problem in just like Hollywood or, you know, any type of sometimes independent film productions, but indies probably do a better job of it, but. How people write roles for people or write about things and you don't have those people in your writer's room. Like it's kind of just it's wild. Like how you gonna write about, like I understand somebody having a story. Cool. To refine your story and then make it better, seek those perspectives in what you're writing about. Like as a dude, how can a dude write about a story of a sex worker? You ain't even talk to the sex worker. Like, and this is the thing.
Shawnee P, what it do?
It's always your intent, right? Because if you're trying to make it fictional or things like that, then it could get a little bit more loose. It's a little bit. It's like, yo, bro, but this is like where you're trying to go with it. At the same time, too, it's like have those realities to base your whole thing off of. Like, know what it is, then build on that.
I feel that,
as opposed to where it's like. It's baseless where you're like, somebody could watch the joint and you're trying to make maybe a film hit. Like you're not making a comedy. And even then, it's
missing the mark.
It's like missing the mark. Like what you tried to do, you missed it.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? And I'm gonna stand on the side of the creator who's doing that, right? Okay. They don't know that they don't know, which is not an excuse, but it's like that's where the audacity comes from. Like if you think you have a story and you're trying to tell the story, you know what I'm saying? Like
nobody's actually like, oh, I should.
Yeah, they're like, you thought you knew the story. You know what I'm saying? Like it's funny because like I've thought about this in stories that I have, like I've heard or I've like kind of come up with like good stories that have a lot of moving parts that I'm like, okay, like I don't know about that part, but I know how that part plays into this story. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I thought about that in that sense of like, okay, like maybe I would, because if it's part of my story, I probably know someone who played that role. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's literally as easy as just reaching out to that person, connecting with that person to get more insight.
Exactly.
I am a more emotionally intelligent person than the average person. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a more kind of like conscious person than the average person. So I'm like, I could see why if I had that, like, because you might just write that story. You might just write it, not even tell anybody about it. You're just writing it. Then, you know, from there, it turns into another thing, and then it turns into another thing. And now you're making a movie. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you never talk to, because like, I remember people used to give Tyler Perry, I don't know if they're still doing that, but they used to give him that flack because he said he writes all of his shit, and he's got a bunch of shows that are like about women, and only like it's like they're centered about women, or they're centered around sisterhood or whatever, and he's not a sister. People
that critique is a little different than what I'm talking about, because I'd be like,
he's still the black experience, or what?
No, y'all critiquing his process, and I guess cool.
And his process made him a fucking billionaire.
Critique the film though.
I'm
talking about the film. Like, maybe
okay,
the process,
the film hits because this nigga sells out every
the
weekend.
Women characters not resonating, and like, and then I'd be like, word. Maybe Tyler, I'm talking as it strictly pertains to the art. Maybe you as a director, maybe you should keep that
outsource that.
Exactly.
Maybe you should diversify your writing room.
I'm not even coming on the tangent of like.
So what are you talking about? Like maybe like white people telling like Asian stories or black stories or something like that.
I'm talking about for the sake of the art. If you want the art to be better and the art is supposed to be on that, it would behoove you to have that perspective. Doesn't mean it has to be like that. It doesn't even mean you have to even pose this question to people as, oh, I'm making a movie and I'm writing about this character. No, like just be a fucking human and like just gauge conversations about the things that you want to know, and it gives you a little bit more of a, oh, okay, word. I didn't know that. Now that helps me. That helps me. Now with this knowledge, I can, you know what I'm saying, word, because that's your truth. I'm just writing this story. You know what I'm saying? So to hear truths and shit, it's like it's not gonna mold it. It just helps me. It helps me refine what I'm doing. So it's not. But there's a lot of people too that try to come from the inclusion perspective of it all. And sure, right? Like if white people are writing a film about black people, it's kind of like, yo, bro, like.
Big facts. And you know that was just like the case with Soul. That's just like the case with Soul. They brought on like a black co-director, of course, like after the movie was already underway. You know,
little thing like
this movie actually has no soul. So like let's tweak it.
Clippers like you just say they're tweaking. Like it's only a black person. Like, yo, that's some funny shit.
Yeah,
like, dog.
Yeah, like because if you fuck your hair, haircut up, that's gonna ruin your day. And that was kind of part of the story. It's like that was like a kind of thing. Like it kind of sends him on the path of like trying to make that and fix that. You know what I mean?
And that's that one moment right there. That's not gonna make a movie, but it's like
it's gonna resonate with you, and it's gonna stick with the people that it's meant to hit with. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You didn't talk about it. That was something that stuck out you in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
I just felt like talked about it.
But like so that's really tough.
Yeah, even with I was gonna even say like with like tattoos and stuff like that. They had niggas in there that was like tatted up and like you just never. I don't think I've ever seen that. And the reason I was able to point it out was because like that Instagram page that I'm always telling you about, film enthusiasts. They had like kind of made slides about how like
film enthusiasts to like maybe
whoever it is, he's tough, man. I'm sure it's like a one person who's just like obsessed with movies, and they could grew his shit to like 1 million plus and begin recognition from like real people in the film industry. So he's definitely got a dope page, but it's very interesting how he breaks down movies. So like in that, he was showing slides of like how that movie has done things in computer animation that haven't been done before. You know what I'm saying? And was kind of pointing it out, which I think was dope.
I like game-changing shit, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really like to watch that shit. Have you ever watched Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, bro. I like
what's your take on that? Yeah.
Man, I think it's a great fucking movie. I think it's, it's funny, right? Because that was one of those movies where I was like, wasn't the first examples, but I'm like, yo, it's crazy how movies would try to make you empathize or sympathize with wicked people.
That nigga was wicked.
Like when people are fucking wicked, right? Like, yo, kill that person.
But I also think it was I think it was the times. I don't know. I think they were obviously portraying the nigga to be like a real vandal, but like I think it was the times.
Yeah, but at the same
time, that movie
was
weird to me. I'm not even gonna lie. I have no opinion on that movie because it was just weird. It was kind of weird to sit through, and it was before I was really like. I mean, I've always like liked movies, but it was before I could I saw that movie and couldn't even like break it down. Like I had no like. I didn't know who Stanley Kubrick was.
Man, like the visuals and aesthetics and the colors and the way that they played, like every fucking room that they're in that movie. If you really look at the details, you're like, yo, man. Fucking bonkers. Like even the fucking wall print of the house, I'm like, dog, polka dot the whole shit up. And even the themes, like now they had it in a way like they controlled his thoughts, and they're like, dog, you cannot think of anything vile, nigga. Like you literally start getting sick, but we won't kill you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like that was one of the first movies too at that time. They were really playing with like concept, like fucking with like societal contradictions, or like taking evil and making you view it in a whole nother way. Like, well, is the other end good? Like, is what they're doing good? I'm like, nah. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched this movie, One That Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies. Jack
Oh,
Nicholson,
really?
one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was so deep to me.
Okay.
It showed the fucking battle between like soulless righteousness. Like, yo, this is it. This is how you have to be. This is, and you trying to differentiate yourself, or you being the individual or being unique. No, I'm telling you, no. And that's the fight. And then you have Jack Nicholson. Yeah, you know, the free spirit, badass, do whatever the fuck you want. But there's a contrast, and the reason why everybody in that the what you call that, like a psych
asylum or something,
right?
Like, yeah.
They fucked with him. They because they weren't able to take that from him. You know what I'm saying? Like his soul, to me, this is my take on it, right? It was so exuberant and all of that. So they gravitated towards him. But as they gravitate towards him and get motivated and inspired by him, they're starting to move away from the fray, from the asylum's culture. And they're like, him being the way he is making everybody else harder to manage. And now they're looking at him like, yo, cuz you need to chill out. Like we'll fuck your whole life up, bro. Like, you think this is temporary. You're not getting out of here. Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like he was in, like, he didn't have to stay. I remember, like, he was at the beginning, he was there on his own will. He thought it was cool. He's like, it was a cool little spot, whatever. Yeah. And then, like, he didn't even realize, like, he was becoming more and more, like, getting more comfortable with the place. Then finally, when the electromagnetic therapy, and that's so funny too how they did that, because that was really, in real life, really controversial. I can't believe they thought that could really cure people of some things. That's wild. But they did that shit to him. So much so, the nurse, that fucking wicked ass nurse, and then, like, he was just a fucking, like, after they did all of that shit, then he was just lifeless. Like, he was not him. Yeah. He was gone. They robbed him of his soul. And it was funny because there's a one Native American dude in the movie. Tall dude. I don't even remember. He was a tall dude, didn't speak, didn't say nothing, didn't fuck with nobody, but he fucked with him. He fucked with him. And awesome, like, off the realest shit ever, bro. Like, it was dark at night one time, bro. This nigga went to his bed. He was crying and shit. Nigga took the pillow and fucking just boom, just killed him and shit, because he was like, bro, I know you didn't want to live like this. You wanted me to do this. You know what I'm saying? How they did. And I was just like, damn, just like how niggas could play with those type of themes, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how it went down. I went from fucking the Orange Clockwork to
One Flew Over the Cuckoo. But you know what's crazy? I want to say something about that. I need to rewatch that movie, dog, because I watched that joint like when I was in high school. I think I watched it like I think I watched that and I never knew why we were watching it. I just watched it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't break it down. I just watched it. You know what I'm saying? I that's crazy. I'd never really but the movie resonates in my head. Like I know exactly what it looks like. I've seen it. Like I can't pinpoint every single scene, but like and then I remember he was being really like he was kind of just being like a you know, like the class clown type of nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Being Jack Nicholson, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely got to rewatch that movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it just showed the fight where it's just like, damn, bro.
I guess that's why it's so critically acclaimed too. Like you hear a lot about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I'm trying to tell you, because it's kind of, it speaks to something where it's like, man, some environments truly will cultivate this one.
Well, environments turn you into who you are a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? And not even a lot of, like, most of the time.
Sometimes the dangers of not being conscious of what the power of what your environment can do to you. Like sometimes thinking you're a butt. Like,
you gotta be conscious about it.
With that movie showed, it was like, bro, you weren't bigger than.
Yeah, you're not bigger than like the house.
Because your ego, your thing, your lust for life. Yeah. Like, very easy to not believe that. And
I mean, you got those people who can go into a place and they become the leader and they start to shape the culture. You know what I'm saying?
But peep this though, bro. You get locked up. That don't matter here. You in prison.
Yeah. There's already a thing. There's already an institution that holds higher than anybody can. Any person can come in and change.
And everything. It's different. Yeah. You try to do that, bro. Like you gonna meet like some harsh truths.
Yeah.
That you didn't know that was applicable here. It could rock here.
Yeah.
That, you were a beneficiary of moving like that in different ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in certain places, it's like, we'll beat that out of you. the army, the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Like, cuz you're not about to just do what you want.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a funny thing too. You know what I'm saying? Cultivating your independence, cultivating your self-interest and things like that as well. And then being in environments that are not that like shun the
dog. You
they
know
view
what's
it as
crazy?
self-serving when it's like, but couldn't it be a better you?
Ultimately, we all have to be. This is like one of the biggest
kind of even a preface to what we were trying to talk to even about today, even the psychology.
Yeah, I feel like this is such a very big thing like in our lives. It's like our biggest contradiction, I think, as like human beings, is that we want to be individuals, we want to be ourselves, but also like we gotta be a part of something societally. You know what I'm saying? Like we are a part of a society, like just inherently, like how we grow up. But like also like you want to be, you want to be, you know what I'm saying, a part of a group, or you want to be a part. You want to latch on to something. You know what I'm saying?
Born to be in isolation.
Yeah, even if you can't identify it, you know what I'm saying? Even if you can't identify what it is, there's something that like in us that we need to. I mean, all mammals kind of like run in packs. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. All fucking humans, like even when people, the most antisocial of people, or the most loner, everything,
wants at least one other person to be antisocial with.
This is the thing, or they might not even know that's what they want.
Yeah,
you're that until you're not anymore, because you found another company where you're like, oh wow,
and
you know,
and I would even say like if that's a way that you are, it's you cultivated that, you turned yourself into that. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like I feel like you might have turned yourself into that.
You might be more predisposed to things because of what we talk about environment.
Because of your environment, you're used to not having a lot of people like around. You're used to running solo, something like that. But like, I do think we all kind of crave some kind of connection, but it's contradictory to our kind of like also want to be individual and like.
I don't think
you know what I mean?
It could definitely act a contradiction. I don't think anybody ever intends to, contradict by, following whatever is individual to them or shit like that. But sometimes you just ruffle feathers because sometimes people don't think like that. You know, that's
well, I'm not even saying just like being individual, just in the sense of like ruffling feathers and going against the grain. I more even mean just like we got to kind of take care of ourselves first. Like we can't like. When we give too much to others, like some of us are like naturally giving people, right? And when we give too much, we start to feel like we start to feel some kind of resentment or some kind of like, oh, well, like who's taking care of me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And it is our responsibility at the end of the day to take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when people lose that sense of like the balance of taking care of yourself before taking care of others, or taking care of yourself and others, but not forgetting that like you have to take care of you have, like they say, you have to fill your own cup up before you fill up others. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it leads to, feelings of like more negative feelings, because like even though we, like I said, we want to help, we want to contribute to things bigger than ourselves, we also have to like fill ourselves up. And if you're not aware of needing to do both, you know what I'm saying? You're doing one or the other.
Right.
And now you're either labeled as selfish. And it's not even really about what other people label you. I'm just like, you might within your own self be like, damn, like I don't have anybody, or like, damn, I don't have I can't find myself. You know what I'm saying? Like you find people like on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Of course there's spectrums, but like, I feel like those are the two like polar ends. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And we just venture from, back and forth. So no, I definitely, at the end of the day, people are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to use this cliche. I'm not even fond of it, but I guess it's true. Like your vibe is your tribe.
Yeah,
like you're not really about to come across some shit that you're not fucking with and associate with that. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like minds attraction. Like you can be that type of individual too. Again, until you find somebody else that's kind of the same way, but now you're realizing it's like, oh wow, okay. Like at the end of the day, like even like when you think about the whole concept of solitary confinement, like that, like people will say they want to be alone, but don't even realize the different ways in which they're not. Even like social media, in a way, it's like you're alone, but like you're experiencing other
also
people's
not.
thoughts.
Yeah, like, you're also not.
Because if we talking about alone, it's like you got to be devoid of all of that.
Yeah,
devoid of external. What is external? It don't matter. You're just doing that. A lot of people get caught up into shit like that. Like a lot of people are not privy to social media. Like I don't use that.
There's literally people who like that's not even like they like that. Doing that is like adding something to their day or something to their list. Like it's not part of their already planned existence, which is interesting. I kind of wish I was that kind of person because I think I get too much external stimuli from.
I love how you said it like that. External stimuli. You didn't even put it to one thing.
It's not positive or negative. It's just external. It's not from myself. And sometimes I don't want it there. Sometimes I'm glad because you don't learn unless it's external. So like it's a give and take for sure. Bro. You know something I want to do, dog?
Yeah.
I want to do one of those like little like 3, 4, 5, 7 day retreats where you're devoid of that. So I want to try something like that. I'm not gonna say like this year. Nah, I'm not even gonna put a time limit on it. If anybody is listening and you know something like that, one of them joints, I want to try that. I want to try that, bro. Because I feel like I meditate. I take time to myself. I'm definitely conscious of like when I feel like my external. I mean, my noise is getting too. My mind is getting too noisy. I'm conscious of kind of coming back to normal in that sense. But I do want something that's like challenging and not just me challenging myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I've heard of people doing like high performing people because I always think of, oh, well, I can't afford to stay off the grid for a week. You know what I'm saying? Like I know people who are way busier than me who have told stories of like they do this, regularly. So I know it's doable. It's just like I've never like put myself to the challenge of like figuring it out.
I'm 100% down for some shit like that, bro. Like,
we should experiment with that, and then
like,
do our findings
or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro.
They be having retreats like this. There was a shout out to Elise and the Bounce Back podcast. There was a guy that we had on the Bounce Back podcast who was talking about how he went to like a silent joint. It was a 7-day silence. Don't speak. You know what I'm saying? And it was with a bunch of people. Like they would have like schedules of like things you got to do. So like you're still around people. It's not like because I think there's something easy about like just going into your own confinement. And I'm not saying this has to be hard. I'm not saying that. Like if I could go into my own little cocoon and just like do that, I would do it that way too. I'm open to both ways. But this guy in particular was talking about how he went to like a group joint and they were all in silence for 7 days. And he said it was like emotional for a lot of people. People were in there crying. Like people were in there like,
of course. I can understand that for sure because it's like, that sounds dope as hell, bro.
Yeah. I feel like it's something I want to do just on some like that forced quiet time, bro. Because that's where a lot of, in those moments, at least for me, a lot of my best ideas, or not even just my best ideas, but like ideas I feel most enthused about, like actually moving forward with, come in moments where I'm kind of like, I've never really done one of those retreats, but when I'm in similar moments where like, when I'm in Nigeria and I haven't really communicated with like people from here or that are here in, a week or so, like I come up with like hundreds of ideas and moments like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm flying back and forth from Nigeria, those are like long ass plane rides. It's always come up with great ideas there.
It's crazy because we live in a world where everything is just trying to be, from thoughts to perspectives to advertisements, marketing, everything is just trying to push down your conscious. And then when we talk about external stimuli, right? To be completely like, people don't even understand how many people on a daily basis do not check in with themselves. Like people do not even like, and you have to understand it's not that in itself, not checking in with yourself is not a conscious decision, because if you were conscious,
you don't even know you're supposed
to. You would. So,
yeah.
And then to just take on the
also, I feel like sometimes you don't even know what that means.
Yeah, that's a fact. So like just to break it down, like even to break it down, like when I say check in with yourself, it's like everybody has contradictory thoughts or battling thoughts, or you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to make a decision within yourself and things like that. Like I'm saying, sit with that. Like that's how you should start your day. See where your mind is at before anything has entered your fucking shit. Like when you wake up, you got to think how unnatural it is to look at a phone. Like wake up, look at a phone. Wake up, look at external stimuli that is outside yourself.
it kind of dictates what you're gonna worry about that day, or what you're at least worried about in the morning. That morning, first
your
things
body
first.
is literally your vessel, your body, your tool to do whatever it is that you say you're out here trying to do in this world. You're trying to build a business. Okay, but you, like, are you good? Are you mentally good? Is your bandwidth good? Like, there's ways that you can help that. Then when we think about, like, don't even get me started about input, right? Because input is so many things. Like, for what's coming into you, conversations you having, the food you're eating. People don't want to talk about that. Like, and then you know, we talk about sicknesses and all these things that develop. That all
comes from external. What are you putting inside you?
But this is the thing: if you do your fucking internal due diligence, then you can consciously choose.
You build up you consciously choose. That's the thing. It's about consciously choosing what comes in, dog. I hear so many people like talk in a way that they can't choose what comes in. You know what I'm saying? And it's like literally, and it's literally the decisions of like, who do you listen to? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, who do you like who do you listen to? Like, what do you, like you said, like, what do you eat? What do you drink? And I'm not even trying to make it sound like I eat and drink or I do all these things perfectly. I'm just saying that, like, these are the things that I think about, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think about what I eat. I don't eat 100% great all the time. I don't, of course not. Because also a lot of times I'm like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've built up a habit of eating well regularly. So like a lot of times I exercise really. Right. So it's like, but I like, I don't eat like toxic shit though. Like, it's crazy how people can hear that like McDonald's uses fucking whatever the fuck in their meat and then still go eat from McDonald's. That's crazy to me.
To that point, I'm sure you'll agree with this too. Like, my boy's like, bro, look, he's like, I don't spend that much on a lot. He's like, clothes and like, people will be buying these sneakers. He's like, I don't care about that.
I spend on food.
He's like, when it comes to food though, bro, he's like, I spend on that shit. Because he's like, people don't even understand how wild they sound to me. And this is a culture. The dude I told about. Let me go get
that 5 for 5. Let me go get that.
He's like, it's crazy to me how I done bought some shit. And like this athlete, you know, my man's or whatever, he'd be like, damn, bro, you paying that much for that? You could have got that done. He's like, bro, he said, is that what your body worth? Your body not worth getting this shit? Like, bro, that's trash. Yeah. I'm not about to eat trash.
You're eating it.
He's like, bro, you know, the last time I ate McDonald's, I was out for 2 days. It took me out.
Yeah.
I couldn't. He's like, it took me out. I don't eat that shit. It took me out. Like, I ate it. I was out for 2 days. He's like, I don't eat that shit, bro. The thing is, like, one thing too is like, man, you know, people let their brains and their metabolisms like really take the bare brunt of their fucking just their, you know,
their existence.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you can handle it.
It's gonna come back.
And it's like for what? And it's like for what?
Yeah, bro. Like, you're gonna grow up and
it's like for what?
You know what I'm saying? Like, even like it's kind of even the same thing, you know. Like, even when you're lifting and shit like that, bro, there's a whole fucking science to all of that shit. Like, you could eat fast food and be a swole person. Like, it's cap. What's your endurance like? What's your stamina like? What's your all this? Can you even take pain and all this shit? You know what I'm saying? So it goes back, and again, that's external. That's how it's showing up, how it looks, you know. And then we could talk about how things look is not exactly how it is. Or like when we talk about these productions, these movies, these films, you know, there's probably 100 to 200 people that was responsible for even making it look how it looks. It's just the external, like. And these are just little analogies, but just
because it's like what you're putting, because it goes into you. It goes into you. Like, it's crazy. We talked about corny analogies, but how they say like your body's a temple. Like, it's literally it kind of goes into that in the sense of like 100%. This is the shit that 100%. You operate with. Even with the brain, dog. I was listening to just yesterday. I was listening to this episode of School of Greatness. Okay. With Lewis Howes, and they were talking with somebody that was talking about the brain and like the mind, like how we think about things and how we can start to like understand what our thoughts mean and things like that. And it kind of goes to show like really how we perceive things is what our reality is. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, like I just believe that I'm a healthy eating person now. Like I've got like I don't eat like the fastest food that I eat is like kava. You know what I'm saying? Or this little boutique joint around here. If you're not in Maryland, you probably don't know about it, but Jasmine's. That's like basically like Chipotle, but like better. Yeah, shout out to Jasmine's Cuisine. I think they're only in Maryland.
Might need a breakfast from one.
Have you been to Jasmine's?
I think once. Aren't they like
that joint on 124?
Are they like basically Quincy's?
What's Quincy's?
You don't know Quincy's?
No.
Quincy's the joint right by the LA Fitness, right by the Shadowland. I know you know that.
What is it? Like it's like
it's like Jasper's. It's like a bar, right? Like a bar.
Oh no.
Oh,
that's not what Jasmine's. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about Jasmine's.
Oh, I said Jazz.
Yeah, you're talking about. Are you talking about Jasper's? Because Jasper's, I think, is a place.
Is that a place?
I think so.
Yeah. All right.
I think so. It sounds like it's a place. But I'm talking about Jasmine's, which is like it's basically like Chipotle, but like boutique. You know what I'm saying? Like much better. But basically, that's basically like those are the fast. That's the that's the fast food that I eat. You know what I'm saying? Like. Right. So I say that to say that, yeah, I think I'm way more conscious about what goes in. That's why I feel, but also I feel like all of this is based on like overall and like percentage. Like, what do you do most of? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying like I regularly eat well, so that's why I can, you know what I'm saying, once every couple of weeks eat something that's just like shit because it, you know, most of the time I'm eating well. Whereas like, you know, if you're eating, you know, McDonald's every day, which I lived that life when I was like in college. I had really no choice but to eat like what was affordable to me.
That's the thing you do though.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's a self-defeating like statement. Like,
but it's just that you know, choices also come with like
but you know what's funny?
Making a choice.
You know what's funny?
Takes away from something else too.
That's
like,
facts. That's it's also
that you can make.
You're right.
To make at that time.
You're right because like. Also, it's not like I was broke. I hadn't bought more shoes in my life than when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? More shoes and clothes in my life, and then I was when I was in college. So I wasn't broke. It's just what I prioritized spending money on. But to that point too, like I stopped eating McDonald's in college because like that was when I found out like what was going on. I had a homie. My roommate worked at McDonald's and this nigga would just come home with like the stupidest stories about like what was in the food. And it completely turned me off. Like I literally had no desire for it. And then when you see kind of how like all these fast foods kind of operate in the same kind of way, it just kind of turns me off from like fast food in general.
Let's segue this into like how we were just talking, you know, how we both would love, you know, to have a black magic camera within our sets, but we're spending bands on NFTs.
Out here spending bands on NFTs. It's priority. It's priorities right now. Nah, this is. You know what's funny? This is high priority, bro. This is the priority right now because like. Oh my god! Because the upside right now is just so crazy, bro. This is a solid little segue because you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Shit. We were talking about that. But in the sense of how like prioritizing what you spend, it's funny how like this digital art dealing, I don't even know what you want to call it. Just like being in this NFT space and like paying attention to it has really become like my top priority just because it feels like early internet, bro. It feels like because the thing is when we were young, like the internet was kind of coming up. We weren't old enough to like realize what was happening. You know what I'm saying? We weren't old enough to see that like if you can figure out what's going on and figure out how to build a service on top of it or something valuable on top of it, you could you know, make something that's extremely valuable because people don't even value the thing that it's being built on yet. You know what I'm saying? Like now that we're, you know what I'm saying, late 20s, early 30s, like we're at that age where we can manipulate this thing if we start to understand it. And it's early enough where like everybody's trying to understand it right now. There's no understanding of it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the best way to take advantage too is, you know, taking a step back and really understanding like the era that we're in right now. The internet has been around, you know, been around.
It's mature.
It's been like,
it's mature, and it's crazy. And what's crazy, and it's still. You said 40?
Yeah,
oh no, yeah, because it was being played with.
It's been there
back in the 80s and 90s.
And then we had a WW boom in 2000.
It became commercial when we were young. Yeah,
exactly.
It became commercial everywhere. Like, nigga, you can have it in your house.
So I'm talking about. So now the thing is how this NFTs and everything is coinciding with there's a fucking new phase of the internet about to come. I mean, fucking Tron network is literally supposed to be internet like 2.0. Like this is like and then you have 5G as well. And I'm not even too sure of all of the fucking pros that 5G is going to do in terms of like connectivity rates and all of these type of things. But I just know a lot of things within this space are changing, and why we feel that we have to prioritize this shit is because if this shit is overarching and pertains to all industries, and this is kind of like at the forefront of some shit, it's kind of like RY2K, like our fucking like boom. This is RY2K, where it's like, yo, bro, this is we talk about disruption many times offline and in many conversations through many different platforms that we've had, even on Nation Airways. We talk about disruption
and able to experience it and see it from a distance or from afar, or notice it when it's happening to in other industries or to people who it might pertain to. 100%. This pertains directly to us and the world that we're in, and it's happening and it's moving and it's fucking. And it's like there's already value in it. Like there's already value being a lot of fucking value being exchanged in it.
And I'm gonna tell everybody, like, don't let your lack of understanding prevent you from seeing what's up with something. That's the beautiful thing about it. If you want a conversation, if you want to get any type of info, if you want to have any type of question answered,
this is the easiest time to reach out and
get that.
With people who are dog. We were just talking with the nigga that made Kim possible. Like we were just talking about the nigga that made Jimmy try. Like all these niggas are trying to learn. Like they're in these rooms asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Like literally learning from niggas who like a week ago were asking questions in that room. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's one thing. I'm like, look, this technology has been all around us. Why is it now that people that have married to their old mediums, they literally have stood by shit? I've literally seen like the people with the most fixed of mindsets are awesome. Yo, something's happening now, and I'm not trying to be behind. If anything, I'm just gonna like shut up and just listen, because
that's uncomfortable for people to do. Especially if you feel like you have been doing your thing, and it's like people should be listening to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
100%, bro. So it's like, to the psychology of it all too. It's like I try to, it's always good to have some type of psychological perspective with anything you do, because everything on this world is involving us humans. You know what I'm saying? I always say humans are gonna human. You know what I'm saying? So like if you understand that, it help you in your better dealings, and even help you in terms of like navigating, and help you like even assess like the space we're in. Like you have a lot of term like FOMO, like that's a real thing. That's a very real thing. But like a lot of people will ask too, like as it comes to NFTs, like, oh, should I buy? Should I mint? And I'm like, what's the best, bro? Is just to be receptive to these conversations. That's the real step. I'm not telling you to go buy some shit or mint some shit. No, just be open to understanding a new space that is coming about. Take it in, understand it, then you can see how you can utilize it to your advantage. And that's with anything. That's not even just with NFTs. That's just with anything, right? Like even with stock. Somebody tell you a stock, I'm not telling you to go buy it today, bro. Just see what's up with that. See what's up with that space, that industry. You know what I'm saying?
Also, people sometimes, not even sometimes, I feel like a lot of times we don't even open our eyes until we feel like there's a reason to open your eyes. Like it's not even until we got to talk about how much money people are making before people are like, oh well, maybe I should check this out. You know what I'm saying? Like even with stocks, it wasn't even until like people didn't get interested in stocks until like you start seeing, oh, like somebody on the internet is telling you how they, their life changed because they did this. You know what I'm saying? And now you're trying to have your life change too. So it's like that's why your ears are open.
Exactly.
But
and it's
like with that's not how every opportunity presents itself, and most of the time, like every person isn't going to experience an opportunity in the same way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're doing something because you think you're going to make millions off of it, not to say that you can't, but like I don't know. I feel like your mind has to be open to the possibility of things just in general.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Like all wins aren't equal, bro. All wins aren't equal.
Yeah.
There's many ways to win out here, but some ways to win are glamorized than others, as if these ways to win, like that pathway is what you should do.
No,
That's
it's dog. I have a story.
That is not true. Like we talk about
Yeah.
compounding and investing.
Dog,
Like,
I was just about to
story
say
about investing is,
bro.
it's a long game. Like you see somebody, oh, I came up, so now that inspires you. Oh, I could come. It's like
Nigga, that I learned that lesson.
Your definition of winning.
I learned that lesson this week, dog. Like just last week, last Friday, right when we got off of the air.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had a seemingly amazing day. So like right when we got off the air. So like those that don't know, I bought my first
Bitcoin Angel.
Digital art, the Bitcoin Angel, like mid-February ish, whenever it dropped, mid-February, something like that. That was my first joint. When we got off of the air on Friday, I had just checked my Nifty gateway. I bought it for $700, $777 to be exact. We get off the air and I go onto my Nifty. I got offers for $3,000 for my joint. You know what I'm saying? Like $3,000. I'm like $3,000 come up off a $700 purchase 3 weeks ago. I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily take the offers in that moment. I go on about the rest of my day. I put out something like, okay, let me see if I can get 3.6 for this. So I just post for sale for 3.6. You know what I'm saying? Somebody bites it. By the time so like this starts off to be a crazy day. I told you earlier in that day I sold an NFT Top Shot joint for like $750. An NBA Top Shot joint, my bad. For like $750. So I'm like, oh, nigga just literally made $700 for doing nothing. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
And then the 36 joint happens. But like when that happens, you just call me to tell me that the other NFTs, the Shadow Moons, are moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So within this day, off of like NFT resales, make close to like $5,000 or something like that, just like from doing seemingly nothing, which seems like a win. I'm like elated off of like, damn, like did nothing. That's cool. Fast forward a few days, and the joint is like that win is not sitting so well with me anymore. I go back on Nifty, the Bitcoin Angel is selling for at least $4,800 a week, like $1,200 more, less than 7 days after I've done. I'm like, damn, like why did I do that? Now I'm sitting here questioning, like, bro, like those go against my principles. Like I didn't need to make that sale. I sold that asset way before I needed to. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I was looking at it like an asset. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I was just like, why did I do that? You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of beating myself up. But the thing is, like, literally a week before, I'm like patting myself on my back. I'm a digital art investor. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm patting myself on the back, like, oh yeah, I did it. But like, nah, like I left money on the table just because I got a little, I don't know. I'm not going to call it greedy. I wasn't being greedy. I thought I was taking an opportunity. The opportunity was like, it was right there. I thought I was taking a good one. And now I'm like, like I could have just like held my breath a little longer. And
I feel like two principles were just like, it was like two opposing principles that were both correct at the same time, though. So
in the moments that they happen,
exactly, because it's like it's a great return on your investment into this, and in the time it took. This is an amazing return on investment. Even makes you think, well, I should have fucking bought 5 Trevor Jones.
I should have bought it, because that was back when you could buy multiple. Now, like Nifty hit, like this whole space is moving so fast, bro. Like we're talking about NBA Top Shot. Like now we don't even know what is. Like
you can't buy multiple open editions on Nifty now.
Oh no, I don't think so. I think you can only buy one. I think so. I don't know. I don't. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know.
Because with that Blau joint, a couple people
bought multiple. So maybe not. Let me not say that. But I like the climate still has changed. You can tell the climate has changed. To
that point, though, right?
But yeah, I'm just mad I didn't buy multiple Bitcoin Angels. But even in the moment that I bought the Bitcoin Angel, I was like, but no. In the moment that I did it, I was like, why am I doing this? Like you said, I could be buying cameras right now. Like I have cameras. I got equipment I need to be buying. Why am I spending $700 on a Bitcoin Angel? In the moment that I did it, you know what I'm saying?
That's a real fact that I want to even address too, because that was really a part of what we don't even want to talk about like that.
My nigga Rail said, yeah, man, he should have held. No, I'm thinking of these cryptos and these NFTs as assets. Like,
but like
I was on some flipping shit.
Nah, bro. Like, look, back to that principle shit. It's just kind of like, look, if it took 5 to 6 months for that shit to have went to that 3,600, you probably would have been like, yo,
that's still
cool.
a good return on investment, bro. That's 3 times.
What you would have did at that moment because of the time, like the time it took and everything. You might have very well just cashed out all the same, or maybe because it took that long, you're like, well,
what could it do in 6 months? You know what I'm saying?
Boom, like maybe just keep it going. But then, like the fact that sometimes how quick something might appreciate, you like, dog, it might drop.
Plummet. It could plummet.
Look at crypto. Like, you see how Bitcoin just dropped.
Exactly.
I don't know. So making that was a right move. But then when you also see what could have been right and you couldn't have got scolded for, it's like, now I bought this as a real investment piece, or like, yo, it was just an asset. Like when I bought it, I had no intention of selling it anytime soon.
Yeah,
it was more so
I was gonna hold it till Bitcoin got to 77 because like that was part of the stipulation. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, just to see what's up with it, because I believe it'll go to 77. What would this be if that was at 77? So that's also interesting. Thoughts that the actual artist can intertwine into that. I think that's also something cool too, and that's something I think of that's cool about NFTs as well, that you can make them act in the future as well too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you as an investor would have to consider that. Like, wow, this person
there's
puts
some future stipulations you can add on
into the asset. This is new. You don't really buy assets with stipulations.
Nah.
You buy it at a price. That's the stipulation. Like, it might drop.
The first thing that I've ever heard. So do you remember when Pharrell said he was like making a song that's gonna drop like in 3,000 in the year? You know what I'm saying?
Happy? Or is that the joke?
No, not Happy, but like Pharrell like said, I don't know if he actually did it or if he was talking about it. He was talking about he made a song that like would only release like in a certain year.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Word.
This happened a couple years ago.
So
I don't know if this is like, I feel like it's NFT-esque, you know what I'm saying? But this was before, like, I don't know how long NFTs have been around. This is what, like, it's popular now. So I don't know like if it's new, but like, but he was talking about this a couple years ago, like maybe 2 years ago.
Smart contracts have been around for a minute. That's basically
a smart contract.
He used a smart contract to enact something like that, something that has been set in stone years ago, and will enact, like, it's kind of working like a fund. You know what I'm saying? Like how she gets released.
The stipulation was like, he wants people to like try to heal the world, and it's like, it was like there was like a thing like, oh, like the world will be destroyed in like 100 years or something like that, and like the song is supposed to come out in like 100 years. So it's like, if the world is still here, you'll get it type shit. It was something like that.
Yeah. It's very, 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 very interesting how you can make NFTs overarching like that in years, and you can even build them around community incentives and shit like that, because there are royalties that you could put onto it. So like NFTs in itself could be used just like charitable ways, or ways to even like just change communities that are downtrodden and shit like that. It's amazing, you know what I'm saying? Like the art, like, again, we just out here talking about investments as it pertains to art. This shit really spans. It really spans.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna benefit those truly that see the other ways that you can incorporate NFTs, and like, maybe like the art is really a byproduct of it. It's not even the main thing, that it's like driving or spearheading, or what this money is being used towards. Like, that's really cool. It's a really cool aspect of it. But yeah, bro, just back to, I guess, psychology and investing in general, right? It's like Bezos had said this, it's not natural for humans to think ahead. Like, we're creatures that we have
now.
physiological needs.
Thinking right now.
Shelter, food, you know what I'm saying? Like sex, like water, like all these needs. Like, we don't try to simplify it down to that core, but that's literally what us humans are operating off of. To literally, but we have a conscious mind, but you have to put it to use. Like, it doesn't just do it, you have to put it to use, or your shit can be influenced by the external stimuli of the world, or your own vices, right? But just the fact that you can actually damn, look at that, it just happened.
You're talking about investing in psychology, investing, and you're talking about Bezos was saying how like he doesn't.
You have to plan, exactly. You have to fucking.
We don't think ahead.
Like, and this ain't no motherfucking corny cliche. This is actually, I like this shit, dog. Just like, you gotta like design your life.
Yeah.
Like literally, like
Yeah.
people try to correlate design too much design to fashion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even when I'm in tech, I'm like, wow, bro, there's really like design, like this. You have a designer mind.
Designing is
It
like
is
literally just like shaping
bro,
it how you consciously shaping something.
It is a type of mind.
Yes.
And anybody can be a designer. There are designers in any industry, like you know, in every industry. You know what I'm saying? And you literally have to consciously try to see, envision the future, and
shape it and make it,
and shape it, plan it,
make it happen.
That in itself is not natural. You actually have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like in our psychology, it's
what do you think is more natural? You think we're more natural to like let someone else do that, like expect it to already be there and just kind of fall in line with it?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think it's more like we don't want to do that ourselves. We want somebody else to have the format and then we just follow it.
Because I even think we're naturally lazy. And people are like, oh no, I'm not lazy. No, I'm not saying that. You can literally biohack your way to having good habits and be lazy with your good, like it's like dog,
like now your habits.
You're like, dog, let's do this.
Now
like,
you're just a creature of
no,
habit.
bro, I just do this. Like bro, because this is
let's do the bench before the squat. No, I don't do that.
Yeah, this enables me to live the best life.
I eat my meals at 3 o'clock. I can't come out for dinner.
Bro. Exactly. And it was like, bro, this, like it'd be like, okay.
So like you're a slave to your habits.
Bro,
which is kind of crazy to think, because I feel like I'm in a phase of my life where I'm trying to build good habits. Like it's crazy, bro. We were having a conversation the other day about how like, bro, I feel like I got myself to a point where I was the guy that I wanted to be. Like when I was like 24, 25 years old, I'm like, like I'm trying to strive, like I'm striving for greatness, literally. Like I'm trying to like have my life look like this. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm 31, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, my life looks like how I wanted it to look when I was 26, 25. It literally does. But like 31-year-old me wants something completely like more, you know what I'm saying? Like I want something so much more, so much vaster than like this. And it's like, damn, I'm gonna have to build up all new habits, you know what I'm saying? Like habits of like the nigga that does that, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I'm kind of like you said, like I'm kind of like a slave to my habits that I built up when I was 24, 25, 26. But like that led me to getting everything that I so desired back then. It's so crazy because it's like, I want to pat myself on the back, but I'm also like disgusted with myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
Going back, it's like consciously designing. Like I designed the thing and it worked. I have to.
And now you have to retool, redesign. Like it's a continuous thing.
It's a new year.
Big facts.
You know, just like how it's a new line that dropped. Like, yo, I got to design my whole shit, man. I have new things on the plate. Like that's how it goes. And the more that we can just be open to adapting and adjusting, it makes everything. Like it'll make everything a more swifter, you know. And I love the term biohack and things like that because there's just so many little. Everything starts with little changes. You don't have to fucking just go dive in some shit. Sometimes that's mad intimidating. Some people that's how they do it. And all, you know, more power to those people. That's dope. You know, you jump in. Some people, you know, they got to start at the real shallow end. Just.
Baby steps, literally.
That's cool, man. You're better than the person that's
hasn't moved. Yeah, you're right.
So, like, whatever you have to do, but like once you start doing that, you start cultivating spaces. You'll start having new ideas, new thought process within yourself, and then that's gonna lead you to, you know what I'm saying? Try to just update as an individual. That's all we are. Like I'll be telling people, like, you gotta upgrade your software. You gotta upgrade your software, just like how these your fucking MacBook or your laptop or your fucking phone talk about. You want to update right now? And you're like, maybe later.
Later.
You know, that's an analogy. That's another analogy for life.
Later.
We say later.
Remind me later.
We say later to ourselves.
All right, I'm gonna remind you at midnight. Just put your password in. Later.
Talk about meditating. When you wake up, start the day. You wake up out of your sleep. Later. Phone,
habit.
Phone,
that's a bad habit I've built. Because like we talked about that earlier in the show, and I will admit, like I do that on mornings that I don't do that. It's a conscious decision, and I'm trying to have more mornings that when I don't do that, where I don't check my phone first. But like,
bro, you one of those individuals. I know you love to get inspired by people doing great things. Like because you yourself, I'm trying to out here do great things. Like meditation, like that shit is like, that's a very consistent thing with a lot of people that is, playing at the peak of their level. They also understand like the sanctity of my mind before the day is like, that's imperative.
You're right.
That is number one.
That's why
nothing starts.
Anything that I do is like, most of the things that I do are because like I've heard or read or seen that like the people that I kind of want to emulate do it. You know what I'm saying? So like meditation is definitely one of those things. Working out regularly like is one of those things. Like, of course, I'm not gonna say I like to work out. Like, it's not something that I necessarily like to do. It can be therapeutic because I make it therapeutic, but like I also know that it's important. You know what I'm saying? I also know that, you know what I mean? Like,
I always feel like too, bro. Shit, man. It's always thinking about and planning whatever the fuck that has to be done. That's the hardest part, bro.
Yeah.
I swear. Like,
getting
thinking
it done.
about meditating, it might be a drag. I promise you, meditating is the best thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing I in my life I ain't never meditated. Like, I never felt that. Like, dog,
it's kind of the beauty of having the time to do it.
Exactly.
I think like when I'm in it, it's like, okay, I like the fact that like no one, like, no, whether someone's bothering me or not, I don't know. Like, my phone's in the other room. Usually I do it with my phone in the other room, so I don't hear buzzing or nothing, or anticipating about. Sometimes like just having my phone in the room makes me anticipate like somebody's gonna hit me up soon. You know what I'm saying? So like, doing that, but also, and then when I'm done, I'm like, okay, usually no one has hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually everything is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the things that I thought was going to happen in that 15, 20, 30 minutes didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I think that's what I get appreciative of. It's like, oh, like I can have all the time that I need to myself. Like, whether it takes me 10 minutes or whether it takes me 45 minutes, like, even when I get back to it, people are fine when I get back to them, You know what I'm saying? And I think it's cool, like, understanding that no matter how busy you are, like, if you do want to take time for yourself, the world will be fine. And like, all you have to do is open your eyes up and realize it. You know what I'm saying?
Before you check in with anybody, check in with yourself.
Big facts. I feel like that's a good place to leave it.
Check in with yourself.
Big facts.
It makes sense.
Big facts. Nah, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation today.
Definitely dope.
Yeah, so we're about to get up out of here. Anything going on that we gotta talk about before we leave?
It's funny. It's randomly. So I got booked a flight to Cali last night. So
really?
Going tomorrow.
Going tomorrow.
I'll be back.
You live in that kind of life.
I'll be back because Thursday.
What you got going on?
Give the gap. We shoot on Thursday, so I'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday.
What you got going on in Cali?
Shooting a video for my boy Leaf. Yeah,
Litty.
Wants me to come shoot this visual and shit. So about to take. I was like, yeah, good man.
That's
good
lit.
Man.
That's lit. That's how life should be. You know what I'm saying?
So
where you need me? Just where you need me? Just send it. Yeah.
I got a couple of my boys. They actually my I'm gonna show it to you. My boy, he's shooting a fucking short film right now. And their fucking set is fucking elite. I told him, I'm like, yo, bro, if you need any help, I'm about to be there this weekend. I'm gonna show you the set, bro. Fucking,
that's dope.
Things are going next level. I'm like, yeah, I just want, I'll PA.
Yeah, big facts. I just want to be on the set.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm already lining some shit up like that to do. Gonna go ahead and knock out all these little edits I have to do today, so I can just focus on new work while I'm out there for the weekend.
Yeah, big facts. Yeah, have that clear mind.
Exactly. I ain't trying to think about got to get this to this person.
And
luckily, like, I don't have too much things like on the plate like that, so we're good.
So it's realistic that you can get it done before you.
Yeah, it's perfect time.
That's big facts. That's what's up.
What about you?
I mean, me just, editing. I've been working on a lot of back end stuff right now, man. Really getting the brand together. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like to be, I feel like the social media presence is cool,
right?
But I'm not just trying to have a social media presence. I'm trying to like have a bit like this. I want this to be a business. You know what I'm saying? Not even that I want it to. It is. I feel like it's not necessarily it's looked at as more like a social media brand, a social media thing, whereas like that's not just what it is. You know what I mean? So like I've really been working on a lot of back end, like really been learning how media brands make like what their sources of revenue are, like their biggest sources are, and been trying to put the pieces in place to have that foundation for like generating regular revenue from the typical ways that media brands do, in addition to like the ways that we've been able to generate bread thus far.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So like literally been building. It's crazy because like I feel like I've been doing so much, but like my social media has been kind of like lacking, but it's because the social media is like, I feel like the first I've probably been doing this for like 6-7 years ish, 7-8. I really don't know the timeline, but like somewhere around there. And I feel like the first 5-6 have been focused on social, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like, okay, that's cool, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's other things, like there's literally other things, you know what I'm saying? And not even that there's other things that, I'm not even trying to say there's anything that's more important than social. I really understand the importance of it, but like as a media brand, as like I'm trying to be like the Gimlets, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to be like Earwolf. I'm trying to be like, you know what I'm saying? These like podcast production entities, the Black Effect even, you know what I'm saying? It's a little newer, but like I've been watching what they do, and they're really more in line. I don't know if you're hip to like the Black Effect with Charlamagne. They're really more in line with like what I'm trying to build, and like what we are building here with like all these shows that are already here, you know what I'm saying? And like I've been in talks with all of our hosts. Like we talk on the more regularly than we used to, you know what I'm saying? Just because we're really trying to figure out the mold of our the model of, you know what I'm saying, these little shows. I mean, these little shows are businesses in themselves. Like they're all like their own little product, you know what I'm saying? All need their own all need their own marketing, all need their own strategy, you know what I'm saying? Like all this type of shit. So like all of that is like basically what I can say is that like I've been working on making these shows better products, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just like putting a show together and then showing you the clip on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? So like I feel like that's kind of how the audience was built before. Now it's like we're actually honing in on what the product is and like packaging it right and getting it in front of more people, all types of stuff like that. All of that has been like what my focus has been on in you know, sharing the pie with learning this NFT space, you know what I'm saying? So like when I tell you I'm in it, bro, I'm in it. Like I we had a whole 2-3 hour phone call the other day just talking. Literally started off the conversation was like, oh, did you see this? And then like literally just kind of went on because like that's kind of how like deep into it we are, and like how interesting it is,
how
like
rapid it's moving,
how rapid is moving as well, bro. So like it's crazy, bro. Just last week I was geeked on NBA Top Shot. Now I'm just like I don't even know what this is. I mean, they got, but also like it goes to show you it's not the platforms itself, it's the thing that these platforms are being built on that you need to pay attention to, because platforms are going to come and go, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Vine came and Vine went, but like it still made its impact, and the thing that it was building on is still very much here. You know what I'm saying? Like TikTok is like Vine 3.0. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. So it's really understanding what's happening, because like what NBA Top Shot is doing is going to open the. There's already a joint for football for soccer called So Rare. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm sure NFL and MLB will make their way. You know, so.
And I wanted to also make a mention, since we talk about the sports too. Glad, shout out Figgy. He just he told me, shout out Anthony DeRugi. So cause
I know that name.
Yeah, like my brodies, you know what I'm saying? Niggas I consider family. Anthony, Brian, Scott, Stephanie, the DeRugis, their youngest brother. He's a starter on the Florida Gators. And March Madness started.
Oh yeah,
so he's playing this weekend. He's a fucking beast. He's on the Gators account every other post. He's slamming shit. Every other, and he's in his like first March Madness. And seen Anthony since this high.
That's dope.
Seeing the moment he was taller than me, this nigga was like what? Like 12, 13 years old.
So you knew he was gonna be tall,
bro. And the tallest sibling out of them all, and like they told you, like,
and he's the youngest.
He's 6'8". Hey,
that's
and
tough.
he's.
I feel like that's how it always is. Why the youngest one always got to be the biggest?
They learn because the older bros and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
You don't learn height though.
Everybody was tall. Like
everybody was tall. Okay,
everybody's ballers. It's just like
he just happened to be the
youngest baller.
It's like the littlest one gets a little bit of everyone and everything.
And everybody went through what we go through.
Yeah. So they don't even have to go. You don't even have to go through it.
You don't even have to go through.
And then you also get all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you get all the good stuff.
Exactly.
Being the youngest is lit.
I'm definitely gonna make sure
That's dope though. Me, I forgot.
Awesome.
I forgot
That's
to mention March Madness.
Yeah.
We didn't talk no sports actually today.
Yeah.
But nah, it is worth mentioning that March Madness is going on right now. What round are we in right now?
It's
still the first round.
Yeah, so it's all good. We could definitely check in next week and we can have our
for
picks.
sure.
We'll have our picks because I'm pretty sure me and Mek haven't
paid
been catching
no
up.
attention
to
college basketball.
We'll use this week to see what's up about shit. We'll make some quick picks next week.
All I know is I saw that like Duke and Kansas are not in it for the first time, or Kentucky. Okay, but yeah, that's cool. Let's not even hold y'all no longer. Go subscribe to ItsNation TV on YouTube so you catch every episode of this and every episode of all the shows that we drop.
Shout out, it's early. It's early joined.
Yeah, it's shout out to It's Early on Instagram. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace. Early. Nice. Thanks for tuning in.
Early.